All right, everybody. We got some viewers coming in, and it's time of the week again. It's just after 10 p.m. on Eastern time on Sunday evening, and that is the time for the Alien Factory podcast. I'd like to appreciate everybody that has joined so far. As we got new people coming in, we're going to start the podcast up here tonight. Our special guest this evening, and you guys might recognize his name and also his chrome, silver, and black car from the Monday Night Strength of Field broadcast tonight. We have got one of our upper tier Strength of Field racers that is no stranger to the podium on the Monday Night Strength of Field races and Xfinity Open, and that is John Jenkins is here with us tonight as our special guest. John, how you doing tonight?
John's got his mute on. I'm not sure what
John,
the story
if you're talking, brother, you're talking on mute.
There you go.
We're good. There we go. I'm doing all right. Glad to be a part of the podcast. I'm glad you guys invited me.
Absolutely. We're trying to get a lot of the drivers that everybody's recognizing for those Monday Night Strength of Field broadcasts to pop in, and everybody can see you all on camera, see what you look like, and get to know everybody a little better as they watch your car out on the track each and every week on Monday nights in his Strength of Field races. So we're glad to have you here tonight. And also in the house tonight, we got three of us here from Area 51. We got myself, Mr. Excitement, Mike Howerton, and next in line is the Admiral, Tracy Rumschlag.
Drop your beer, grab your gear. The Admiral's here. We've got another dynamic show lined up tonight. We're so happy John made it. John, thanks for coming out tonight, spending a little time with us here at the Alien Factory. We're going to have fun tonight.
Yeah,
Trace,
sure.
How you doing? How's your week been?
Not too bad. Been busy at school, still trying to get that wrapped up by the time school opens up. So still been busy at work. Got a little racing in. Spent a little time in the dirt this week. Last night, I ran a World of Outlaw sprint car race at Knoxville. I ended up winning it. I couldn't believe it. So that part of it was good. And then there's a couple other things going on this week I want to talk about after we get through the introduction. So that's going to be exciting, too. We got some exciting news coming up.
Absolutely awesome. And we got also the number one team driver, also affectionately known as the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Robert Cook. Robert, how are you doing?
Doing okay. Yeah. I don't like the number one driver, but yeah, I'm doing okay.
It's lonely at the top, isn't it, Robert?
It is. And Robert, you may say, everybody may notice that Robert sounds a little better tonight. He was having trouble, and then his microphone, man, your headset had been on its last leg for a while, and I helped you out today, and you've set it up and get the volume up a bit on your mic, but you've got a nice brand new headset that you're breaking in today, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm breaking. At least you could hear me. Before, when Mikey got it, you barely hear me.
Yeah, you got a nice one. You got like a $80 wired headset of all things. I got a wireless one. Nothing wrong with a wired one. It's actually a more stable connection.
He didn't get a studio mic. I figured for sure it was a studio mic. Must just be his golden radio voice.
Yeah. I was thinking wait till I get me a webcam. I told Mike I'm going to have a hat and dark glasses on where you still wouldn't be able to recognize me.
Yeah, that's just in case the FBI is looking.
That's
for
right.
You,
right. I'm still wanted by
witness
the
relocation program. I know.
That's right.
Yeah. You never know. There might be a surprise raid at Robert Cook's house to figure out who he is.
Yeah, they want. Yeah,
he's still wanted in several states.
That's correct. That is correct. I'll be relocated in a different bar type situation.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we got you hooked up. I looked at I saw the microphone headset you got. You got you a nice Corsair Elite something or other, Void Elite, but it's USB connection and 7.1 surround sound through that thing through USB. And so, yeah, you've got yourself a pretty nice headset there.
It's the same one I had before, but same type and everything. It's just a little upgraded. I had my cord, instead of putting it in front of me, I had it around my shoulder on my back, where it wouldn't be in my way. And then when I was racing, I kept on turning my head, and I ended up pulling the wires loose. And I said, well, it's time to. I had it taped up. I had a shoestring hooked on there, it wouldn't pull anymore type of situation. And Scotty's complaining that he couldn't hear me half the time.
Well, sometimes I just think Scotty just can't hear half the time sometimes, but
He didn't hear last year, Richmond, did he?
And we know he's
Scotty,
not here tonight.
Yeah, I know. So we can pick on him. So he's like, Scotty, they're gonna wreck. Scotty, I think they're gonna. Hey, Scotty, these two guys, they're trading paint. I think they're gonna wreck. We go around the turn. Scotty, they're wrecking. And me and Robert's going down to the shoulder, and here's Scotty. Bam! Right in the back. Well, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, like you and I were carrying on the conversation before the start finish line going in turn one. You said I was getting ready to pass you or something. He said, I think those guys are going to wreck. I said, okay, I'll stand back here. And then, okay, they're wrecking. Okay, I'll go down low. Okay, and then here comes Scotty. Boom!
Yeah, we're never letting Scotty live that down. It's like he hit two team drive. He hit two guys in the same, in our team's cars. I was like, Scotty, you're tearing up both our cars.
Scotty, we were talking about it for a couple of minutes.
Oh, Scotty is never gonna live that one down. So
Well,
yeah, I've been.
Well, that's what happens when you're married, right? You guys can turn people off.
Exactly. Selectively, I can tune
Selectively.
anything out if I want to. The only thing I have a trouble with is kids when they're too loud, man. The high pitched voices being all loud. Oh, I even put my big headphones on and try to drown it out. It helps a little bit, but then I'm just like,
Yeah, we caught you last week yelling at him.
Hey, at least I muted and turned around to do it. But yeah, so I've been I haven't really raced much this week. I raced one Richmond race, and I'm sure Rob would bring that up later. But it was horrible.
But you've been sick too. Are you done being sick now for a while?
We'll see. I went to since the last podcast. I went to a pulmonologist, a specialist, about all the respiratory stuff I've had going on and everything. And she seems to think that the same kind of thing my family doctor said, but he wanted to get a second opinion that I had asthma when I was a kid, and as an adult, I've had a very light case of asthma. It flares up here and there, not very often. Last time I did anything about it was probably 7 or 8 years ago. Before it was the last time I had a bit of a flare up. But anyway, that she's convinced, the pulmonologist is convinced that all these sicknesses I had, COVID, and then COVID and the flu, and then another sickness, whatever it was, and COVID again a third time. All that stuff has got my asthma and my lungs all. The asthma's triggered my asthma and got my lungs all inflamed and stuff.
Yeah, you got to point out that you work at home too.
Really. But I'll just say this real quick. Not that anybody really cares that much about my health, other than the fact that I cough all the time when I'm racing. But anyway, because my asthma's flared up, then I'm more susceptible to get sick than most people. So it's like a vicious cycle that's been happening. So she's got me on this massive inhaler with some steroids in it and stuff, hoping to get my asthma under control. And then hopefully I won't get sick anymore. So hopefully I won't be like, here coughing in these podcasts anymore and having to mute all the time and struggling through the strength of field broadcasts and stuff here soon. So yeah, good news on that front. But anyway, yeah, Trace, I raced the 1B Open, and that was kind of rough. And we'll get more detail. I'm sure Robert will bring it up later when we do our weekly roundup in the Wall of Shame. And then I did some dirt. Brandon Burkhart was in here hanging out with us the other night, and I did a super late model dirt race at Williams Grove, and Brandon just sat back and laughed at me. I mean, those things are wild.
But you dropped in with no practice, didn't you?
Yeah, no practice.
Yeah, just showed up.
Yeah, right. Just showed up and raced it, and I think I ended up pretty much breaking even on I rating. It was pretty close. And anyway, dude, you can never hardly push the throttle clear to the floor. You got to clear to the floor, that thing and start fishtailing around, even in the straights.
Right. Nathan Waddell is supposed to teach us how to drive them, remember?
Oh, yeah. Those things are pretty wild. Brandon's like, there ain't no way I'm getting that. He goes, I got to watch this. I did that. And then I raced what was this? 358 modified D-class dirt race earlier today at Cedar Lake.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that was a mess, man. People were wrecking all over the place, and I ended up getting disqualified with like 3 or 4 laps to go. It was so bad. People were hitting the wall and wrecking. This one guy hits the wall, blinks out where you can't see where he's at, and reappears right in front of me, and I just plow over.
Sounds like a typical dirt race to me.
Yeah, and that's how I got disqualified was on that one. But yeah, it was pretty. I've just been pretty disgusted with racing this week. Plus, I've been working on something else. This is the last thing I'll talk about me before we get into our guest tonight. But I spent a lot of my time not racing this week because I got my Steam Deck in the mail, and I ordered this. I put this on pre-order a year ago, and it just came in. Let me take unblur my background. This is a hot item. People have a hard time getting it. But yeah, I ordered it. Let me see if I can get rid of my let me see if I can get rid of my background. I don't know if I can or not. Make it easier to see. If I can't easily, I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't too bad when you showed it there.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to fool with it to figure out how to get rid of my background for a second. Anyway, but it's pretty cool. It's a gaming. This is like a full-fledged gaming PC, kind of like a gaming laptop with an integrated built-in graphics card, and it's pretty nice. It's a huge thing. You see it up right here by my face. I mean, it's huge. It's got like a 7 or 8 inch screen on it. Controllers built in. It's nice, man. I've been playing some NBA 2K on it and playing some retro games on it and stuff like I've been into some the Punch Out for the Wii and playing it on it, so all kind of cool stuff. But I've been setting it up. I've had to brush myself up and get familiar with Linux a little bit to do some stuff and configure it how I want. So that's pretty cool. I was thinking about dual booting and putting Windows on it because I mean, literally, it's a gaming PC and is a handheld. And I was thinking about
I think every kid should have one of those.
Exactly. I'm like a kid, man. It's Christmas every month at my house almost. Anyway, I was thinking about dual booting Windows on it so that I could load iRacing on it. And not that I'm going to iRace on it with a controller, but I mean, some people may think I drive like that anyway. But anyway, but no, so I could take it with me, you know, if I'm traveling or whatever, to still do maybe our Monday night broadcasts or a podcast or whatever. If I'm if I'm out traveling, we can still do the podcast. Where like when I went to the beach there a couple months ago for a few weeks, we had to cancel the podcast for a couple weeks and stuff. But I was thinking I could get that and put iRacing on it, so we still do the Monday night strength and field races and stuff while I'm gone and out if I have time while I'm away. So yeah, anyway, that's what I've been playing with. That's why another reason why I haven't been racing that much. It's been eating up all my spare time trying to configure that and get it ready. So that's pretty much been my week, Trace.
That sounds good, man. Sounds
well,
really good.
Yeah, and you've been at it. So I don't want to take too much of the thunder, but I want to introduce what you wanted to talk about for a few minutes, and that is, you know, we're always looking for partnerships, you know, here at the channel, and to partner up in all kind of ways. If somebody wanted to sponsor something at the channel, you don't have to necessarily give us money. We can do some in-kind stuff. You promote us, we promote you type thing. And we here at the channel love what Ricky Thompson does, right, with his Sten Analyzer software.
Absolutely. Friend of the channel.
Yeah, friend of the channel. He did something cool for us there a few weeks back, and I'll talk about that, and then I'll let you talk about what cool we're gonna do for him. I don't even know if he knows it yet.
Yeah,
he might.
Ahead.
But I'll tell you what's cool that he did for us. So whenever we were scheduling to have him on there a few weeks ago to talk about his software, he added an advertisement bar at the top of Sten Analyzer. If you guys got the newer versions, you'll see that advertisement bar. It's a small bar that takes up a little section at the top. Well, he put up an advertisement for our Alien Factory podcast. So it says, Area 51 Alien Factory podcast, Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. Right there is an advertisement. It flashes up on the top bar there, Sten Analyzer, and he's been doing that for us for a month and a half or so now. And we were really appreciative and thanked him and thought that was awesome. So, Trace, you had an idea to try to return the favor there and promote him a bit. And I'll let you announce what it is and what we're going to be doing to help promote Sten Analyzer.
Well, we've got some big news with him. So first off, watch the Monday night Strength of Field B Open race. And it's at Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern that we do that broadcast for that race. So what we're doing is there's two things that we brought to the broadcast for the racers. Okay. First off, we have the halfway challenge, and that's just Area 51 Alien Factory Area 51 Alien Factory halfway challenge. So whoever's leading it halfway, they're the winner of that. They get a little alien head. If they want it, just hit us up. We'll send you one. Secondly, this is the important one. And we have during the race, what's known as the hard charger award. And what that is where the driver that started the lowest on the grid, okay, or highest on the grid, however you want to figure it. So let's say they started 25th and finished second, okay? That's going to be your hard charger award. Someone that has the most improved their position, their starting position, the most spots is going to be our hard charger award. And I approached Ricky about it and asked him if he wanted in on that, and he did. So that's now going to officially be the StenAnalyzer.com hard charger award for the race. So whoever our driver is, they become the StenAnalyzer.com hard charger award. They're going to get that. So
And they get a hot dog, right? They get a hot dog for
and they can
Big
go
Blue
see
Betty.
Big Blue Betty. Absolutely. Get a hot dog, say hi, sign a little autographs, take a few pictures, selfies, whatever you want to do. I'm sure Robert will be over there hanging out. He usually is. Anyways, but so that's what we got going with Ricky Thompson right now. Sten Analyzer, Monday night, 8 p.m. strength of field race. Make sure you guys watch it. It's an excellent broadcast. And also the racing has been excellent lately. We've had Boyd Hogan had a 3 weeks straight where he was winning, and then he took a week off. I hit him up in the week and asked him what was going on. He said he had some other stuff to do and wasn't able to make the race. But so we have John Jenkins tonight. He made the podium last week. He had an excellent race. We'll get to that here in just a second. But anyways, so there's one other bit of news I want to throw out there too. I know a lot of guys that run ARCA. Usually it's all asphalt, but this week they were a little different. They actually ran Knoxville, and there was a lot of people that came out for the Knoxville dirt race with the ARCA cars in iRacing this week. The racing was packed. Not that it was great racing, but there was a lot of guys out there running it. They really seemed to like that car track combo. So if you haven't tried it, you probably got another day till tomorrow to try, at least practice on the Knoxville dirt. I went and did it. It was a lot of fun, and I was able to get close to the top, so I must have been doing something right. So that part was fun. Never got a chance to race it though. Next week we'll be headed to Watkins Glen. So for you guys that love that road racing, get strapped in, buckled up. We're going to go road racing this week at Watkins Glen starting tomorrow. So hopefully John's looking forward to that. Other than that, that's about all I got for the news.
Thanks, Trace. Appreciate that. And I want to say there's going to be some wild races there with the ARCA on the dirt at Knoxville. Because the ARCA races, there's no cautions, and
we're thankful for that.
Yeah, and those cars on the dirt has got to be a bit wild. So, it's just like strap in and try to avoid wrecks, and you should finish pretty good.
Right. Yeah. That's the key, is just staying out, because the track's been blocked half the time, and that's been the problem. You just get too many guys running into each other, just sending it in there that really never drove dirt. But if you spend a little time on it, you get the hang of it. It's a lot of fun. There were some guys that got it right, and we were running in packs, and it was really fun dicing around and giving slide jobs and stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's probably pretty wild, pulling off the slide job in one of the ARCA cars on dirt. So yeah, we're trying to counter it. But anyway, so yeah, and that's pretty much all I got as well as far as is our introduction tonight in the first segment. I want to transition here into the second segment. And when we first started, we talked about this in pre-production. We used to call this segment, and have been calling it, the face that runs the place, because our first guest was Kim Byron. We had some other setup shop owners come in and stuff, letting people get to know the face behind who ran the place, the setup shop and stuff, and what they were about. And we've had Jeff Maconi on. We had Mike Ouellette on from Major's Garage. We had a lot of people on, and that's done that. We also have had was it Brandon Roberts? Yeah. Who runs the or helps to run. He's one of the guys that runs the NASCAR on a set of Corsa mod community and stuff. So it really fit the face that runs a place. But and we still call it that. But as we get into that segment, though, we've been having some drivers on, well,
that's because Robert wants drivers. The number one team driver said, "Hey, we need to bring these drivers on here," so that's what we're doing.
And those have been some of our best podcasts. In fact, I take it back. Our most viewed podcasts, I think, have been with Ken Byron. Ken's watching now. Put a few comments in the comments there already, or at least one. But our most fun podcast of recently, we have a great time with drivers coming on. But Robert has always ran his Wrangler car. He's let me make a few changes to it. Thank you, Robert, for we put our the alien head on it and got it all set up there in the back where we're in the back quarter panel and bumper a little bit where he let me make some changes. But the reason he doesn't want to make too many changes is everybody knows when they see that yellow and black Wrangler on the track, that's Robert Cook, right? I've done some changes to my paint jobs there for a while. I had that pay to win car for a year, and then I did that danger zone, car for a while. And now I've got my alien factory car I've had for a long time now, over a year. And people really get to know the cars. Like you see that paint job and like, that's who that is. Right. And we get to know people by the way our cars look in iRacing as we're racing with them. And especially the guys that have had the same paint jobs forever. And I know when I'm on the track and I see that silver chromish and black with the custom paint stuff on it, I know that's John Jenkins, right? But really, it's kind of cool having the drivers on, because then we all have our webcams on. People get to actually see the driver, and they actually get to see the person behind the paint job on the car in iRacing. And so that's what we're going to do with this segment tonight with John Jenkins and Trace. I'm going to turn it over to you.
All righty. Well, I want to introduce John Jenkins, Elite Performance Industries team driver. He's if you guys go to the Monday night strength of field race, you are going to see this guy in the race. Not only are you going to see him, but he is usually coming to the front, and he's usually always in contention. And for the last couple of weeks, I know this past week he made the podium. He had a solid race. It was a very good race, and he's been doing excellent. And we're here to welcome John Jenkins. Welcome, John. Thanks for coming out.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate you coming. We want to find out about you, John. So what is it that you want people to know about you personally in this segment here? We want to find out about what you like to do, what things you did to get into sim racing, whatever it is. It's all you now.
I'll tell you a little bit about myself. 29 years old, from Coshocton, Ohio. Seems to be right down the road from you guys.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm in Akron, so we're not
Trace is
too
about
far
an
away.
hour north, and I'm about an hour south.
Yeah. So small world. Yeah, I've been into started out console racing probably about 98-ish.
Now, about how old were you then? You had to be in your
well,
teens, weren't you?
No, I'm 29 now, so I was born in 92, so it was probably about 6 or 7. I started on console stuff.
Wow.
Not like the NASCAR 98 on Nintendo 64 I started out on, and then migrated
I played some of that too.
Yeah, migrated to the GameCube for a while and played like NASCAR 2003 and stuff like that with my dad, and we just had a good old time.
You mean GameCube had other games other than Mario?
Yeah. I played a lot of Mario stuff too. So, little town in Coshocton, and I got into iRacing 2017 and April 2017, and it's been so much fun. Started out just like anyone that also start out now. Didn't really know what I was getting into. Mainly got on it to do dirt stuff and migrated to the asphalt stuff. So
How long you been on iRacing?
5 years, 3 months.
Okay.
Said 2017. So I got a question. Where you said you, like most people, didn't know what you were getting involved in at first, like you didn't know what it was going to be. So let me ask you this: were you like most people and got a little bit of sticker shock whenever you started finding out how much it actually cost when you got in and had to start buying content?
Yeah, it was pretty overwhelming. I was like, well, I need to get all these tracks and I got to get all these cars, but you don't have to get everything at once. So like, depends on what your budget is. If you want to get that track for that week, or you don't think you'll be able to do well this track that week, you don't have to get it. But I mean, over time you end up getting most of it, if not all of it, which I know I don't own all of it. But yeah, anyone's starting out, like when I started out, I definitely didn't know what I was getting into. I got a wheel and stuff. I started out on a Logitech G920, and just learning curve.
Now,
the
did you
big
say
learning
you were into Papyrus, the NASCAR 2003? Were you part of
No,
that?
no, it was the console, like the console NASCAR 2003 on
Yeah, Trace,
GameCube.
I was on computer. He was like he was probably what? If you were 5 years old in like 98, you were like,
I,
well, I don't know what you were in like 2000, 2003, but I don't know that. I don't think he was out there messing with sim racing on PCs at that point, man.
no,
Well,
I didn't.
you never know. His dad might have helped that along too, you know?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we always used to get on the GameCube and stuff and race each other on. I'd block him or something or whatever, and he'd be like, "You're cheating." I'm like, or I'd do him dirty or something. But like, we'd have a good old time. But I didn't actually start PC gaming until the year I got iRacing. So 2017 was when I got a PC and started the whole iRacing career thing.
So you initiated all that yourself, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, do you have a racing background? Do you take any interest in anything like that outside of PC racing?
I don't race personally, like in the seat. I've been around it as a spectator for a long time. Race there, then last 8 years since about 2014ish, I've been helping my buddy with his super dirt late model on dirt.
Now, do you have
Around,
any local tracks you like to go to?
yeah, if you're familiar with Donnie Moran, the $1 Million Man, he
Absolutely.
lives. His track is about 25 minutes away from my house.
Which one is that?
Muskingum County Speedway.
Okay, okay. I'm familiar with it.
Yep.
Are you
And
giving
then
your Are you giving your friend any setup stuff like you learned from iRacing?
I don't know. I don't know how much. I haven't done a lot of dirt on iRacing, so I
Yeah, how's the tire hack working out for you?
no tire. No,
Yeah, hey, me and Ken Byron got accused of what was it? The third gear pit limiter hack or some stupidity from somebody. And we were joking about that a few weeks ago. They said I've been hanging out with Ken. I probably got it off them or something. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I guess I took my pit lane speed a little too good there in a race. I was live streaming there a few weeks ago, and somebody's trolling me saying I had a hack or something. I'm like, whatever.
Well, some of your stuff you can get for you. I got Dash Pro something on mine. I got it on the phone type situation, and you'll get you a little bit faster on your speed going down pit. It'll get you maxed out. While your car was saying you're doing 55, but your pro thing will tell you you're doing 54, so you can gain a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, and so yeah, well, yeah. I mean, anything to help you. There's sometimes races are won and lost on pit road there, depending on how quickly you can get in and out. But well, hey, John, you talked about starting your first wheel was G920, which is the Xbox version of the G29 for anybody that's interested in that. But that's pretty much the story that most people have, that they're starting out on that kind of equipment. That's probably the Logitech G29, 920s are probably and G27s before that. And they got the 923 out now. That's probably the most common thing you hear. People talking about starting out with equipment. That's probably the most common. I think I started out on the entry level Thrustmaster, which is like the TMX. It's even cheaper than the Logitech ones, and it's weaker, it's less force feedback. And Nathan Waddell's still racing on that. He's out there running pro dirt races on like the cheapest force feedback wheel you could ever buy. But anyway, a lot of people start out on that. So my question is, are you still running that, or have you upgraded equipment since then?
I've upgraded since. So since I started, and I think my first couple of years I was on the G920. And then right before COVID, I got a SimiCube Pro, and
Oh man, that's a big boy there.
Isn't that what Brandon Burkhardt has?
I
Didn't
think
he say
that's what he
something about that?
said.
Yeah, I thought that's what he said.
But I got lucky enough to snatch up one of those right before COVID, and everything sold out, and you couldn't find it. And I got a P1X SimLab rig, and
That's what I got.
HE sprints for pedals that are inverted, and I love it. And
those pedals are some pretty premium stuff. I mean, what do those pedals go for these days?
To be honest, I don't know what they are now. I'd say probably I think they're in the 800 range now. I don't know.
Which ones are they again?
the Huizenveld sprints, the HE
Oh,
sprint.
okay, okay.
You have
But no,
do you
those
have
are
the
the
hydraulics? Do you have the
no,
hydraulic one or the
No, I got they got
load cell?
the rubbers in them. The what do you want to call them?
Bump stops, bump rubbers.
Yeah, I've I've had mine for it's probably been a couple years. I got them before I got my my
now, but
wheelbase.
now I say this, and there's no I mean, Huizenfelds are premium pedals no matter what they make. I mean, they're way more premium even in the V3s. But those ones you're talking about, though, they're the entry level Huizenfelds, right? Because he makes some higher tier stuff with like hydraulics and stuff in them too. I think, doesn't he?
There's the HE sprints, the HE ultimates, and then the ultimate plus, which has the smart control software in them now. So, but if you have the old ultimates, you can get the upgrade pack for the smart control software. But I believe they're on a large back order right now. So
Yeah, I hear you on COVID. I tell you, the only thing I bought at a high price during COVID was a new graphics cards. I just needed one. I was running some VR stuff, and it was one of the Reverb G2, which was the high resolution. It needed a better. I wish I wanted a better graphics card with it. I was struggling a bit with my GTX 1080, and I paid higher price for my 3080 than I should have. But it wasn't like the height of the price hike. I got an okay deal on it. I bought it at the jacked up MSRP on Amazon one day. They got like 30 of them in, and I just happened to be sitting on my couch and saw it, just bought it real quick and got one during the high prices in this, this past early spring. But what I did was I bought a few things like you're talking about. You bought it right before the price hike. I would buy things on pre-order or something and just wait 6 months to get it.
yeah,
instead of that's what I did with my Steam Deck. I bought it like over a year ago. I got it over a year from the time I pre-ordered it. I bought my HP Reverb G2 VR headset, and I bought it like 6 months before it actually shipped, because I bought it on pre-order. So I did those types of things during COVID whenever everything was in shortage. I just buy something. I didn't want to pay a jacked up price. So I just buy it and just wait on it because I had something else. Like I already had a VR headset that I'd been using. I had a Samsung Odyssey Plus, and I've been using it for a while, and it was fine. And so I knew I wanted the other one. So I just bought it, pre-ordered it, paid regular price, and just got in line and waited. So I don't know if anybody else did that kind of thing, or you did that kind of thing with your equipment or anything, but yeah, that was crazy. All the shortages during COVID.
Well, I got a kind of a quick story for you. So you've got the same chassis I do from SimLab, and I don't remember where they're located. Is it Denmark, somewhere like that, somewhere around there? Anyhow,
yeah.
when I ordered it, they charged like a couple $100 for shipping. Okay, I get it. It's halfway around the world, no big deal. But if you're familiar with Sim Experience, which is just here just outside of Akron, the wheels that they have, the AccuForce, I ordered a seat from them. Now, mind you, they're only like 25 minutes from my house. They're really close here. And they were going to charge me to ship the Sim seat that I have from them. They were going to charge me the same shipping, couple $100 to go like, I don't know how many miles it is to their place, like 15 miles or something like that. And I'm thinking there is no way I'm paying $200 to go 15 miles to go get, to get this seat. It's like, you can forget that, especially after I got my Sim chassis halfway across the world for the same money. I'm thinking you guys are out of your mind. But yeah,
That's
it's just
insane.
kind of, yeah, it was like, seriously? So whatever. But anyhow, I went and got the seat, and I've got the seat. But I also, like I said, I like the chassis you have. So
Yeah, well, you must have talked about that in pre-production. So, John, tell everybody what kind of seat are you setting in? What kind of chassis or sim rig do you have? You got all that nice equipment now. What's it all mounted to?
I got the NRG seat. That's what I'm setting in right now. And I had a custom MPI steering wheel, a 15-inch wheel, made by, I think it's Victory Sim now. It used to be Carolina SimWorks. He added some push to talk buttons. There's 2 of them on it. And
MPI, isn't that Max Pappas?
yeah, yep.
Yeah, I thought it was Max. Yeah, because I found out a long time ago, and it's is that the NASCAR wheel, the full size NASCAR wheel?
Yeah, it's like they would use in The real
regular
car.
cup. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So that's it. That's it. Cause I didn't know anything about it. And somebody said, oh yeah, that's Max Pappas makes that. I'm thinking
Yeah.
for NASCAR. And they said, yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it.
Little side note, I met him one time, back in like, I want to say 2013-ish,
Really? Where were
RCR
you
fan
at?
day.
Where were you at?
RCR fan day. I got to
Okay.
meet quite a few guys. I met Harvick, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, Jeff Burton. I met Richard Childress.
I met all them guys. We were in the same fight at Toledo. No,
But
I'm just kidding. We were at Toledo.
along with the steering wheel, and I have the SemiCube Pro wheelbase. I've got the DSD Race King button box.
Oh, I love DSD. I've got a pair of those for my wheel too.
Yeah, I love it. I've had it for a few
Derek
years now.
Spears Designs for those that are keeping score at home.
Yeah, really quality stuff.
Absolutely.
I got a Pro Sim I think it's Quafe shifter. It's an H pattern. They're expensive, and I got it for nothing.
How'd you do that?
You'll be amazed. So if you're familiar with Instagram and stuff like that, or I believe they had it on Facebook, but they had a giveaway, and you entered the giveaway. I think you had to like tag somebody or like repost it in your story, and then or whatever to enter or like their post. Well, I did all that, and I'm like, I don't win anything, so I'm just gonna do it and just forget about it. So I forgot about it, and 2 weeks went by, and I get a message by them, and they're like, "Hey, you're the winner of our shifter," and I was like, "Is this a joke? Like, I don't win nothing." So they were like, "What's your address?" They asked me my information and stuff, and they're overseas. I forget where it got sent from, and it was they shipped it Monday night Eastern U.S. time is when I got the notification, and it was at my house 2 days later, like
Really?
Wednesday morning or something. And I love it. I had people message me afterwards like, "Hey, if you don't like it, I'll buy it off of you," and I'm like, "No, I'm keeping this thing." So it's top notch. I love it.
Good deal.
Yeah, the only thing with the A Open now is the H pattern shifters. You can't use them anymore.
Yeah. So
Can you use that in sequential?
I've tried, and it's very uncomfortable. I feel like I'm going to shift in the wrong gear or something. So I just stay away from it. My actual wheel doesn't have paddle shifters. So
you don't have paddle shifters. Oh man.
Yeah. So with the MPI wheel, and I have this extension on the wheelbase, it's like I'd have to get like a hub or something, but I'm in the works to get an actual sequential to mount to my P1X.
Yeah, because it also counts you out of a lot of road racing too, then as well.
Yeah.
Not that I don't know if you do any of that or not, but I'm just saying that a lot of those cars require sequential shifting.
He will tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll be using
There
the
you
H pattern tomorrow. So that'll be fun. It's been fun testing today. So but
Get you back up on the box, get another interview with you tomorrow night.
There you go.
We'll see.
Monday
We'll
night,
see.
8 p.m. Area 51 Alien Factory broadcast for the Strength of Field race.
Going more with my rig. I got the inverted pedal mount for the HEs, and that's been really awesome. I also have the PT actuators, so I have a motion rig. And
no way.
Yeah,
like butt kicker stuff.
Oh, it's probably better.
No, he means motion rig,
no,
right?
Motion,
Oh, okay.
Like, I can feel every bump in the track. I can feel when somebody gets in the back of me, or like if I hit the wall or something. That's the worst possible thing, is if I hit something.
Hey, I want to tell you a little secret about guys that we know that have motion rigs. So if we're in practice with them and we know they got a motion rig, if we and especially they spin out or something, we just head straight for them and hit them as hard as we can.
It's not uncommon.
No.
Okay.
We used to have this guy that we would race with, Double D, and he had a full motion rig, man. Every time I saw that guy on the track, we were practicing, he was a buddy of ours, I'd hit him. If we were in Discord, I'd just start laughing. And who else has a motion rig that people's done that to?
Not too many
John
people on motion.
Vanderwall.
Oh, yeah.
John Vanderwall is a real nice motion rig. And I think one of the guys on his team told us a story about one time he had coffee or something setting over the side, like on his mouse pad or something, and they come through in practice and just slammed it to him, and his coffee went flying or something. I can't remember. It was funny. Man, see, you shouldn't have told us that. Now, me and everybody here at the podcast and everybody watching, they all know you have a motion rig now. So
Yeah,
if you're out
John now.
practicing, man, you got a
Yeah.
target on your back.
Yeah, now I'm in for it now. So
How
Here,
much
just-
lift and stuff does that thing have? Does it bounce quite a bit?
well, I mean, when I get hit,
I mean,
there's
like
sometimes-
driving down the road, here in the bumps or stuff, does it kind of shake your?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have it smoothed out to where I like it. Like you can make it where it's intense, and like if you get hit, I almost need a harness sometimes, and I have it smoothed out. So
Well, if it gets too wild, talk to Ken Byron. He's got some super set that he's got, some super rig that he built, something
So yours
crazy.
only move like 2 or 3 inches. Then it's not just like the 6 inches or up and down.
no, I mean, I move maybe an inch or so side to side. There's a bunch of settings in the software to be able to know what you're comfortable with.
That might
For
be
each
better
track.
than my butt kicker I have. It might be shaking me a lot better.
You may go from regular to incontinent there, Robert.
yeah, probably, yeah.
You're talking about base shakers. I do have four of them on my rig, but I think I burned up the amplifier for it. So
Dude, what do you need
I-
transducers on your rig for if you've got a motion rig?
you got the vibration, like you can
Yeah,
feel shift
yeah.
points and all that stuff.
Yeah, it makes you
Pretty cool.
regular.
While
It's-
racing.
It's pretty cool. You can feel like the engine, like the way, like when you're on throttle and all that stuff. So you can feel the revs. So if you're spinning the rear tires, you can it revs up super high. So you kind of can get that feeling. Then
Well,
in the motion
John-
rig with it.
Yeah,
kinda
at least now we know you're talking about. Robert was talking about your safety rating, talking about you kind of pride yourself on being a clean driver. At least now we figured out why you don't want to get knocked all around the track.
you know that might be it.
you getting shaken up in your seat and once you get thrown out of your seat a couple of times from that motion rig, that make you want to be clean and not get touched.
It's a funny little story. Darlington, I forget. It might have been the beginning of. It might have been B Open. Going down the backstretch, I missed a wreck and I was kind of lost control and was setting sideways. And you get a reset, you got to be completely stopped. So I was almost completely stopped, and very last second, I got T-boned, and I was not expecting it. And I tell you what, I felt like I was flying around in my chair. So that was probably one of the most vicious times in my rig I've had.
Yeah, you
Well,
should get you some harness straps. Strap yourself in.
Yeah.
When you said Darlington, I was thinking of Mikey. So okay.
I know. As soon as he said Darl, I was waiting for the comment. As soon
I
as he
think
said
Double
Darl.
D's got a 5-way on his.
A what? Oh yeah,
Five-way,
harness.
yeah, 5-way harness.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, John. What last kind of question I've got for you is what made you decide you wanted to make the leap into iRacing? Like, how'd you find out about it, and what made you think, you know what, this is something I want to do?
Oh, when they came out with the dirt stuff, I love dirt in the real world. So they advertised dirt stuff, and I was like, man, I might give that a shot. And I bought a PC not knowing absolutely anything about them. So I was kind of like, all right, well, just kind of, it was like, I forget what I had. It was like a 1070 or something like that. It was like just a low end. I think I had like an i5 or something.
Man, 1070 wasn't. It was decent graphics card when it was released back in whenever it was 2017 or 16 or 17 when you got it. But so if you know anything about computers, how'd you know what to get in it? Like, did you have somebody help you or?
Just kind of, yeah. I had well, he's still a buddy of mine, Michael Warren. He helped me out a lot when I first started. He kind of gave me some pointers on what to do. So I had a little startup rig and I think I was on like a 50-inch TV and had no idea about monitor stuff yet. And had it on a little TV stand, and I had a play seat rig, and that was pretty much it that I had my Logitech stuff mounted to.
When you said you had a play seat rig, was it the play seat challenge, little like lawn chair type foldable rig? I
Yeah,
had one of
pretty.
those for a
Or
while.
no,
Yeah.
not the challenge. It was it actually had like a metal
Oh, actually, the
frame.
real seat and everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. I enjoyed that thing. It was quite nice. I sold it to a guy. I think he was from Fort Wayne, Indiana, or something like that, and got my P1, or had a GT1 Evo from SimLab
Yeah.
that I bought,
Well,
and then
that's
I
not.
went to the P1X.
Well, that's not that bad of a setup on a big screen TV. I had when I started sim race, not iRacing, but when I was on VR by the time I got the iRacing, because I was doing like Project Cars 2 and stuff on the PC and VR, and then I got into iRacing. I was already into VR, so that's what I was doing. But before that, I was doing Forza Motorsport on the Xbox, and I raced for several years through a few versions of that game. I had a wheel stand and I had it scooter right up in front of my 65-inch TV and roll my office chair up to. I mean, I raced like that for a long time. That's not a bad setup on a huge TV like that. You get a
Yeah.
really big field of view, or a decent size one if you can get your wheel and everything real close to the TV.
Yeah, it's not a bad little setup there for sure.
I mean, I could have started iRacing on it probably, and it wouldn't have been that bad.
Yeah, for sure. I think trying to figure out where I was gonna go with it. Oh, after the TV, I got I got three 24-inch Asus monitors like Black Friday. Uh can't remember what year that was. Maybe 2018, 19.
So that's what you're racing on, is triples?
Yeah, I am on triple 32s now, but
Okay. No VR at all?
I ran VR in 2020 the entire year when I league raced. I didn't do a lot of official stuff, but I ran quite a bit of VR that year. And the
Yep.
Oculus Rift.
Mike loves VR.
So what were your thoughts on VR versus monitors, and why'd you go back to monitors?
I wanted to get into the stream stuff, so I got the monitors. The virtual reality stuff, I was hard. I couldn't with the Oculus Rift. It was limited to like chat, like seeing chat and stuff. So I could never figure that out. But I always got really hot in the VR, doing the like longer stint races for the league I was in at the time. So I felt like I was more consistent in the VR, but I'd be drenched in sweat when I was done. So I figured the screens, I'd be a little bit more open, didn't have that headset on my face.
Mike, what was it you did in VR where it got so hot it shut down on you that one race?
It was no, it was the NIS race for the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte.
Okay.
The full deal, all
Yeah.
600 laps and or 600 miles, whatever. Yeah, dude, I was on lap it was it a 400 lap race? Yeah, I was on like lap 384 or something like that, and it just crashed. I mean, it was hot. I mean, the headset itself was hot as my Reverb G2. But anyway, yeah, I had some problems with that for a while. I know. Anyway.
So you were smoking, huh?
I did the Indy 500 in it once.
Who was it? Who else was
like
that had a
4
problem with
hours.
that headset overheating? Rachel Hunt. She was in here in the channel talking to Tracy one day, and they were talking about, and she was talking about her headset getting hot, and she ended up having to get rid of her G2, and she went back to her Rift, didn't she, for a while or something like that?
Yeah, I think I haven't talked to her in a while. I'm not sure where she's at with all that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about back then. I mean, she was having problems with the G2. I had a lot of problems with the Reverb G2 until they put out that version 2 of the cable, the box and the splitter box and cable and stuff to fix all the problems with AMD CPUs and stuff like that, motherboards and stuff. But yes, that's cool, John. So you're right. Like if you're going to stream online, triples, there's nothing that beats it. I mean, because you get the peripheral vision right, of the triples, and then you all you have to do is stream your center monitor, right, and that's what that goes
Yeah.
out on the stream. So for as far as live streaming goes, you can't get any better in triples. Like that's the setup for live
Do
streaming.
you read chat while you're racing?
Yeah, he can read chat and everything on
Yeah.
triples.
Yeah.
Why not? You know,
I
but
was
your
wondering if you ever
your,
gotten a wreck with reading chat while you're racing.
your problem with the problem with you were having with VR, John, was the fact that you're using Oculus. The Oculus headsets run on their own proprietary VR standard, and none of the people that make softwares make the overlays and stuff that work with the Oculus, and that's something that Tracy's kind of been a downfall for him with his Oculus when he was using VR. Where if you get any headset that uses Open VR, which is what Steam VR uses, there are some options there. There's one other one besides the one I use, but I like the one I use. It's Race Lab Apps. And it has native VR support as long as you're using Open VR. They've got a workaround for Oculus right now. You install something called Revive, and they got a way you can configure it to make it pop up in there. But I didn't want to mess with my computer and try it because I've got a Oculus Quest 2. But I didn't want to mess with my computers. I like using my G2, and I wasn't going to switch headsets permanently, so I didn't want to do anything that might mess up my normal setup. But anyway, that's the issue. In the Race Lab apps has a pop-up for Twitch, but not YouTube. So I still can't see any of my chats. When I'm live streaming, I have to look at them after the race. I tell everybody that's watching while I'm live streaming, hey, if you want to leave me a message in the chat, I can't see it right now, but I'll look at it after the race and answer any questions you guys put up there or comment on any of the comments you make after the race, because I can't see it during the race. But there are some softwares available. I know there's another solution that might have a YouTube plugin that I might check. Somebody was telling me about a while back, not too long ago, about a month ago, that it works with Open VR, but like none of that stuff works natively with Oculus. There's a way to do it with like something called OVR Toolkit, but it's very cumbersome in order to get that to work in Oculus. It's just hard to use. But yeah, so anyway, I'm with you. I definitely find myself more consistent with VR because of the 3D depth of field, and like you really feel like you're in a car, so it makes my judgments better. And I'm definitely more consistent with a VR headset than I am on a monitor.
Yeah, Race Lab apps, I use that and I love it. For like the fuel calculator and all that stuff, and the chat thing works out pretty well when I am streaming.
So you read the chat while you're racing, and do you wreck while you're doing that? I mean, I heard about some people streaming and looking up. Well, he must say a corner coming out. He was reading chat.
Fortunately, I've not had any accidents happen while reading chat. But if anyone has watched, and you're watching me race, I am ultra focused on driving, and sometimes I just forget to look up, and I'll be like, oh, there's a chat, and I'm like, I don't know how long it's been sitting there. Who knows if they're still watching? Like, if you ever do tune in, I'm laser focused every time I race.
So assuming somebody watching this podcast wants to tune in, John, how do they find your live streams?
Sometimes I find or use Twitter, my Twitter channel, Twitter handle, and you can either search my name, John Jenkins, or my username's Johnny J. There's a underscore in between Johnny and J, or you can just look up on Twitch, X Jenko. It's X capital JENKO, and that's where you can find me when I do stream. It's not often, not a whole lot, but I try to when I can.
I hear you. Well, guys, we are coming up upon the 11 o'clock hour, which means, Robert, what time is it?
The wall of shame.
That's right.
Yes, it is. All right.
Let me bring up the web browser here as we get into our Xfinity Be Open weekly roundup, which the featured part of the weekly roundup segment is the Wall of Shame. It's one of our most popular segments. I used to think that I had some people complain about it because I talked about somebody or something, and people were taking it so seriously, and we're so lighthearted about it here. It's lighthearted about it here. It's ridiculous to take us seriously. We're just having fun and stuff. But people were kind of offended when we first started. And I thought, well, maybe this isn't a very popular segment, and we skipped it a couple weeks. And Robert, what happened when what happens when we skip the Wall of Shame segment?
Well, some people like their name being mentioned and that they're on top of the board. Huh, Derek?
Yeah, and they get upset. I've had multiple people tell me, "Man, why didn't you do the Wall of Shame last week?" So we do not skip a week anymore. We make sure that we hit this segment in the podcast every single time. And I've got my web browser up. I got to find here the Be Open section here before I can get there. Let's see. There we go. Because I was racing dirt earlier, and it brought up the dirt series on me. All right, Robert, I'm going to share my screen, and we will get into this segment of the podcast. All right. There we go. You guys should be able to see my screen now. All right, so we've got up. We're going to start with the big finishers this week, and check out the overall championship points as well here for the Xfinity Series Open in iRacing. And we are going to start here with the leaderboard, Robert. And it's no surprise, the guy who's been at the top of the leaderboard pretty much the whole season, maybe every single week of the season, is Cody Trelendi, friend of the channel here. He has 5,429 points. And he accomplished his goal. He told us his goal, short-term goal. I mean, his long-term goal is obviously to win Be Open, but Cody was talking to us here, and he said he was really wanting to get his championship point leads back up above 400. He was successful with his big finish there in the race at Richmond, his top 3 podium finish this past week. And he is now looks like he's now 400 and looks like 445-ish. I could actually get a calculator out, but doing quick math in my head, 445-ish points now ahead.
John, you're falling down. That's 1,000 ahead of you, John.
Ahead of Brandon Schmidt.
I missed Daytona at the beginning of the year, just before I got on EPI.
Yeah, that's gonna missing races is gonna hurt, but some of that'll get cleared out, at the end of the year when the drop. Does anybody know how many drop weeks we get in Be Open?
No, I don't even know. I didn't even know.
I thought it was 4. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's more than that, because I think most 12-week seasons gets 2, and so we get like 4 times 2. I think we get like 8 drop weeks. I think we get 2 for each 12-week season or something like that. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because most of the road courses get taken out, and we go to several of them. So yeah, I think that's what we get.
You did see who on this thing here. See who on where were we? Richmond. Who did the most races or whatever, leading on Richmond wins.
Yeah, we'll get there just a second, Robert. So Cody's in first place. Brandon Schmidt is in second place overall this week. Justin R. Smith, he was in third last week as well. He's still in third. Mike Bruno keeps his 4th place position here on the overall points leaders or points board for this season. Mike Bruno's got 4,565. The top few guys here, they're all pretty close in points. Cody's got that pretty big lead. John, you are in 5th place, so you're still on top 5 overall in championship points at 45-48.
But that's missing Daytona.
Yeah, it's even with missing Daytona. Yeah, definitely impressive. You're doing well. Tommy Gossett in 6th with 44.50 after Richmond. Anthony Federico is in 7th with 43.90. Johnny Baldridge 43.67. and Randall Nichols in 9th place at 4070. He's the last guy above 4,000. Once you get to 10th spot with Ronnie Joyner, he's only at 3917, which is going from Cody at 5429 to the 10th place position in points at 3917. Tracy, that's a pretty big gap. That's a 1,500 point gap between 10th spot and first place here.
Well, I just saw, John, you got 65 wins. You got all those in one track, or split them up a little bit?
No, that's the rest of the year.
Yes, that's nothing to sneeze at, man. In fact, that's the most wins here on the top 25 page. Congratulations.
I mean, I appreciate it. 170 starts though, so I mean, a lot of track time.
Well,
even
a
get
lot of
those
track
wins,
time
so.
helps you get better too.
170 starts. That's a year for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but you only had 116 top fives, John. I don't know. I think you're slipping.
No, I will say Cody at Ryko, he's doing an awesome job. I really like Cody a lot.
Yeah,
we-
Cody's a nice guy. He's tough
we-
on the track, man. He is fast.
Yeah, anytime I race with him on strength of field nights or any night, I always enjoy being door to door with him, especially at Richmond. Richmond was a lot
You
of
say
fun.
you appreciate dooring him? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So
No.
looking this week only, Robert, as you was asking about before, Cody Trundy is currently the leader in championship points this week. And then Matt Rusi's second at 260. John R. Smith is 248.
I thought
And
Brandon
John-
Smith did more than he did. I thought.
Yeah, and John, you're 4th place in points this week, 245, and Brad Mayhar is 222 in 6th place. And then the only other person above 200 is there's 2 other people, Barrett Bonner there with Ryko as well, and Octavio Rondeletto.
Hey, you're getting better.
Yeah, is it 203 is 203 as well. Everyone else there past Octavio is below 200 championship points this week. And but this has been a pretty rough week for racing.
Well, speaking of that, if you guys didn't watch the stream last week, obviously you did, John, because you were there. But for those that weren't watching at home, we've got a funny story. So we're interviewing everybody. We're interviewing John, and we're interviewing Cody and everybody, whoever was on the podium. And we had Parker White. So we're interviewing him. And we noticed in towards the end of the race that, it looked like he was having some problems, losing the handle or whatever. But we had
it was during the pace laps. He was swerving a little bit on the pace lap and went down to the apron once, and people were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. So Parker ends up telling us that it was because of his dog. His dog got under the pedals and he couldn't drive. So how would you like to be in the middle of the race and have your dog want to give you some love, and you're in the middle of a heated battle on the track? But that's some of the behind the scenes that you get only here from us covering the Monday night strength of field race. But yeah, I wanted to share that because when Parker said that, I mean, I was dying to find out that it was his dog that created his problems. But
I had my dog shut my computer off one time with its head.
Oh, I think Denny Hamlin had a problem like that with his daughter once too.
Yeah, pushed his button. He was down low on those little cheap computer desk, and she was laying down, and she pushed the button with her head and turned my computer off.
Anyways, Mike, that's all I got.
Well, now it's time, Robert, to move over to the wall of shame. We're going to do Division 1 first. And as we look here at Division 1, Robert, why don't you talk about the incident point situation this week for Division 1?
Well, the winner, you got to look down a little bit, but the winner, I have to say, has to be Mike. He did one race. He did one race, and he got black flag and too many incidents, and he got 24 incidents. I think that's the top. Now there's some other guy. There's some other guys.
Wait a minute. Let me grab the calculator. What's 1 into 24? Oh, it's 24 incident points.
It was so easy to figure out. It was like, oh, that's pretty obvious.
Well, I got 2 things with that. First of all, I did get a black flag for a drive-through penalty, and then I got hit again in the rear end trying to go into the pits to serve my black flag.
You shouldn't have drifted up a little bit. You drifted up before you went in, and that going in the pit road and on Richmond is tough. And you should have went down a little lower and stayed there.
Yeah. So that's the first thing I say. I tell you what, man, that race was so rough. No wonder only ran one race this week. I was like, if they're like this, I heard some other horror stories.
It's a short it's a short broadcast. So you guys not broadcast, but a stream. You guys probably only going to take about 20-30 minutes to watch Mike start and finish.
No, it was. I was in there for the whole race. I did not get disqualified. The black flag penalty is a drive through. But anyway, it was a full race, but it was wild, man. There was so many cautions. It's like the last 20 laps of the race is probably about 3 or 4 green flag laps. It was horrible. Guys were dive bombing into turn 1 about every lap. It was just, oh my goodness. I got taken out a couple of times by guys dive bombing into turn 1 and turning me sideways there in the middle of the turn. And yeah, it was a rough. But one of them, the first incident points I got, the first 4X. Now that was me. Scotty says he officially reviewed. I was so disgusted after the race, I didn't go back and look. But Scotty says as we were exiting the turn that, I drifted up a little bit too high and tapped the guy, and then see he fished hit a little bit and went down the inside wall and then disconnected. After Scotty reviewed it and told me it was my fault, I didn't have time to apologize. He was already gone. But yeah, that race, I'd like to forget that it ever happened. Second thing is, it's a tie, Robert.
No way.
Look at the line right above me. Julian Pastor. And I'm going to tell you, he got all 24 of those incident points in one race, same as me. And it was the Monday night strength of field race. Don't you remember?
Okay. I remember the name.
Yeah,
I don't remember the incidents.
Yeah, that was the only race he ran.
So yeah, he caused them all.
Okay, I guess he ran a few more less laps than you did. He only ran 118, and you ran.
So he won. I did not win this week.
You came close. Okay,
we tied on incident points. We tied on number of races.
But he won laps. That's it. Yeah, didn't look at that.
Yeah. So I ran. I ran 4 more laps than he did. So I am not the winner. Thank you very much.
What is it with the guys from Iberia anyways?
I don't say that though. You say that you're liable to get voices.
If it's a 90 lap, it's a 90 lap race, I guess it had to go to overtime to get 122 then, huh? How do you get?
It's a 120 lap race. No. It's a 120 lap race. So
that's right. I was thinking 90. Short. I was thinking 90.
Yeah, he was 2 laps short, and we went into a green white checkered, and so that's how I got the 122. But hey, get this too. I had 24 incidents in that race, and when I finished the race, I think my RPMs were still at 2,000.
Your motor builder was probably happy about that.
Well, no, it was just stupid stuff. Somebody dive bombed me into turn 1 and hit me just enough to turn me sideways. And then, 4X and the flag comes out, but the front of my car is fine, like
probably still running max tape too, probably.
Yeah, it was such a horrible experience. My car was competitive enough where I was right in the mix with it the whole race, and I kept getting knocked around. It was what it was. But yeah, Julian, we talked about Julian a lot in the strength of field broadcast because, man, John, I don't know if you remember some of that stuff, but there was a lot of cautions there towards the end of that race, a few of them, and he was involved, and I think in every single one of them. So
yeah, those last 20 laps were pretty rough. I wish that caution would have never come out at lap 100, but
yeah.
Well, that was one guy was good. Who was it? I thought he was going to win it because of fuel mileage.
Parker. Yeah,
I didn't even know. Parker ended up winning the race.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was doing the one stop or the no stop strategy, but I think I may have gotten there if it went green. We still had 20 to go, and I was 8.5 back.
Yeah, you were catching him at a pretty good rate.
Now it was close this week, Robert, but I did not win the Wall of Shame award. You thought you had me.
I'm
sorry. Were talking about it for days, thinking you had me.
Well, just a few hours. But anyway, but I didn't look at the laps, so we got to get technical. Okay. 4 more laps. You'd had 4 more laps. Okay.
That's good
Lap-
stuff.
Running the
look-
lap, boys, that counts for, safety.
That's Division One Wall of Shame winner. Let's look at overall. Overall, and we're going to take the Division One guys out. We've already settled that. So the overall incident point leader, Robert, what do you think here on this top page? We're just kind of looking at the top page here.
I had one guy picked out. I can't remember who his name was. I think it's down the bottom. Guy did 4 races and he has 51.
Yeah.
There's one Barrett Coffee.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
He has 4 races. Granted, he has the top 5, but he has 72 incidents.
Well, there we go. There he is, Barrett Coffee. Yep, and we'll do the math here. So he has 72 incidents, and you said 4 races.
Yeah, that's it. That's the winner. I think.
Holy cow! That is 18 incidents per race for 4 races.
So he had to get black flagged for some
In
of
every
those.
race.
In
Yeah,
every
you
race.
had to do the drive-through penalty in every
Hey,
race.
yeah, you know what? Hey, look at that. And he finished in the top 4 in points. So that's pretty good. Got to go do a driver through and
Well, he might not have done one on one of them. He could have got 20 some incidents in one race. And
I'm looking at. I was looking at incidents. I wasn't looking at laps. I'm sorry, my bad.
Because 17x is the drive-through penalty, and then 25x and you're out. But anyway,
You should know about that.
I think that's the highest per race incident average we've had for more than 2 races since we've been doing the Wall of Shame. Wow. That's more than I think Martinsville averages. That's wild. So Brett, man, let's see, Brett's division 2.
I've been ran into him. Sometimes you just gotta let him go. He gets on you a little bit and it rides you hard.
Yeah, man, that's a rough week, dude. 4 races and 72 incident points. Man, I told everybody my story about my 24 and run race. So if you want to hit us up, if you want to come on
Barrett, isn't it Barrett Coffee? Is that his name?
Yeah, Barrett Coffee.
Barrett. Okay. You said Brett. That's why I was confused. I'm looking for Brett the whole time.
Sorry, Barrett. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a Barrett, dude, if you want to get a hold of us, come on next week. I'm sure it'd be an interesting story. 72x and 4 races, man. Maybe you were just as frustrated as I was this week. But if you want to come on next week during the weekly wrap up and the Wall of Shame, man, maybe you can help us pick the winner next week, or get a hold of us. Come tell us your story. That was definitely a wild ride. 72.
Well, at least you know when to quit after 1, though, Mikey.
Yeah, I did. I was like, that's it. I'm out. I said, no more of this stuff. I valued my safety rating and I rating too much to keep doing that.
That's right.
But anyway, that's our Wall of Shame for this week. Your overall winner this week is Barrett Coffee, and your winner by 4 laps.
Well, we got to show A division. We got to go show A division.
All right. Well, your winner by 4 laps for Division 1 was Julian Pastor, and I was a close runner up. All right, we'll do A Open super quick. We're not even going to do championship points. We're just going to do incident points for A Open.
There he is. All right, on top.
Well, what week is this?
Go down. Richmond,
that's overall. This was Richmond. All right. Oh, and he's there in Richmond too for Division 1.
He's doing good.
Derek Heitman is I don't know that he's the winner. He had 11 starts. That's 6 point, or that's what, 5
point something.
5.5 or 5 point something. Just under 6 per race. That's not horrible. 41.
Okay, Greg, the number 6 guy there. He did
Right,
one race with 20. Yeah, he did one race and did 20.
20. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Greg Wachinski, 1 race, 20.
And he's a Division 1 guy too.
Well, it just goes to show he knew when to quit
1.
too. When you're smart about it and you have a race like that, you're like, okay, I'm done. No more need to take up more of a beating than that. Let's look overall here for
but he must have some overtime because he had 133 laps. What was the lap for A? Do you know?
130, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I've been like 1 green, white checker. All right, and here we go. Overall now. Let's see. Well,
I I thought overall, okay.
overall, not all weeks, but all divisions for A Open. Let's see here. Daniel had 15 starts. That's not bad. 78. Let's see. Stephen Marr. No, that's not bad.
Probably John Payson, I'd say.
Yeah, 6 and
and
62. That's like 10.2 a race. Yeah, looks like that's gonna be our winner. I'm looking down through here to see if I see anything else.
maybe Jacob Arthur. He has 5 at 48.
But that's not quite 10. That's
Yeah.
under 10. That's 9 point something a
Yeah.
race. No, 10.2 a race is gonna be it. That was Peyton. No, yeah, 6. Yeah. So John Payton had 10.2 incidents per race over 6 races. So he is going to be your overall wall of shame winner this week for A Open. So John, man, congratulations on the win there for the wall of shame. If you want to come on and reach out to us and come on next week for our wall of shame segment, you can help us out and pick your successor for next week and talk about the rough week you had, man. I tell you what, we all have horror stories. We have a rough week. We'd be glad to have you on. Talk about the rough week there in Richmond. A lot of people had rough weeks in Richmond this week. So guys, I think that's
I
all we've
didn't. I only did 2 races and 0 incidents.
Well, I'd like to.
That's why you're the number one
Geritol
team
races, aren't
driver.
you?
Knock
Yeah,
on
it
wood,
is.
I
That's
have
exactly why you're
0 as
number
well.
one team driver, Robert.
I'm going to knock on some wood. I have 0 as well.
Oh,
Oh,
that's much better than my 24, John.
Well, yours probably wasn't your fault, most of them.
One of them
what?
was. One of them was.
I
one of them was
I
clearly-
said most of them probably wasn't.
Yeah,
half.
it was.
I'll
pretty
say
rough.
half of them probably wasn't his.
Hey, we're not, Robert. One was definitely my fault.
You can
and it
watch.
wasn't-
You can watch it. He's got it streamed on YouTube. You guys can be the judge of it.
Yeah, one was definitely my fault, and the other was questionable. And then all the rest were just me getting banged around like a ping pong ball by other people and dive bombing and crazy stuff. But anyway, I don't have a motion rig, so I'm not quite as careful as John.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
John, I think you're going to get hit tomorrow. I think they're going to test your motion rig.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
everybody knows
Basically.
you got one. If you got the cameras going, you got a stream. Somebody will hit you and have your stream up and be giggling in the background. They watch you shake around.
Running over the curves and stuff at Watkins Glen. I mean, it already bounces me around, so kind of getting used to that.
Yeah, that
Don't
would
do
be
it.
a good
going through the bus stop. I guess that's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, guys, that finishes up that segment. We're going to round into our last segment of the night, and that's where we really focus on a topic with you, John. And what I want to focus on this week has to do with where you're at now in iRacing. You talked about in the journey it took you to get from when you started iRacing to where you're at now, especially in the last 6 months or so. We really like to talk and have people on drivers on. We had Tommy Gossett on, who went from like 4,200 or so up to like over 6,000 in like a 6-7 month period. And he really got faster. And that's the thing that a lot of people want to hear about. A lot of our viewers, they want to take their racing to the next level and see those bigger gains in iRating. And they want to know how other people are doing. We have Brandon Burkhardt on, and he took the journey from like mid 2000s up to above 4,000 in about 6 months or so. And he came on and talked about that journey. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight with you, is that whole picture of where you were at in iRacing, where you're at now, how you made the journey and transition, and what kind of cool stuff you're doing now. And also talk about some of these strength of field races and your thoughts on them, because you said you've been at the top of the board a lot this season, and a common name as we do our broadcast on Monday night. So that's kind of the scope of what we're going to cover. And I'll just start by asking you this question. What was your iRacing like prior to about 6-7 months ago? Like, what did you do? What kind of a iRacing career did you have up until that point?
A lot of fixed racing, just learning, most of it, just trying to get better. League racing, I was pretty focused on that. Then that was pretty much it. And then
Now, did somebody help you, or did you just do it all yourself? How did you go about figuring out how you needed to get to the next level, improving your driving, that kind of stuff?
I learned off of like
And
other
again,
guys.
not now, but then, like in the
Yeah,
past, like the first
yeah.
5 years or 4 and a
So
half years.
like heck, I didn't even know how to get my wheel set up back then. So a good buddy of mine got me all set up, Michael Warren. Still friends with him today. We chat every now and then, but when I got into sessions and stuff, I just paid attention, observed, watched other people's in cars.
Yeah,
Just-
that seems to be common. I know there's been a couple people that told me, hey, use the cockpit view in somebody else's car that that's doing good. Find out what their inputs are, that kind of stuff. Get an idea.
Yeah,
Now,
Scotty looks at the RPMs. Yeah, pay attention to the RPMs.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
iRacing doesn't give you all that stuff, where you can, hands on, but you can figure it out as you go. But that's always been a good learning tool. So that's
Yeah,
good.
my first 2 or 3 months, I spent a lot of time looking in cockpits. I spent a lot of time Mike Bruno's cockpit there in the first few months I was on iRacing. So yeah, that's pretty common.
Well, I believe Johnny said he started out with a controller, didn't you?
not on iRacing.
Not on iRacing, but your racing starting career.
On iRacing, I started out on G920, but
No, I'm just talking about your console time.
oh,
with your
console
controller.
days. Yeah, I was on controller on console days, but
All right. So you get in, you got a guy helping you set your wheel up, and you're going in the cockpit, you're trying to soak it up and learn as much as you can back during that time. And so you got into league racing as well back then, didn't you?
yeah. I think the first year I started iRacing, I was with United Sim Racing. They're not a thing anymore. But I learned quite a bit in there. I was way off pace then. I was like, for anyone that does struggle now, I would say I was in the same spot that anyone is that's just starting out.
But weren't we all at some point, right?
Yeah, we all started somewhere and we all
No, I was
struggled.
always perfect.
Yeah, and like I'm not perfect now. I'm still learning. It's incredible. Like there's never too much. So I started USR.
Right. Well,
Then
John, I'm going to say that's a great attitude to have, though. Always learning. You said you're still learning now, and you're setting it like a mid 6,000 I rating now, somewhere in there. And you said you're still learning, right? So that's the attitude needs to have is not that you know what you're doing. I've gotten to races. Me and Robert were talking about this earlier, and I'm sure, John, you can relate to this. It's not that I'm trying to down anybody and I rating, shame them or anything, but like you get in a race and like the 25 car is trying to tell the 10 car what to do and how to drive, and they're obviously have no idea what they're doing. I mean, if they sit there, if they're not open enough to sit there and soak things up themselves, like you were talking about doing, and they're more interested in trying to tell other people how to do something that they clearly don't know how to do themselves yet, then you're never going to get to the next level. You've got to have that attitude where I'm here and I'm trying to soak everything up and trying to learn from everybody I can at all times. And knowing that no matter how good you get, there's still more things you can learn. Like that's the kind of attitude that's going to help you out. And you said that several times, learning and soaking things up. And I just think that's a key to being successful in iRacing or anything really.
And never say good luck before a race starts. Never
or,
do that.
or my favorite. Here's my favorite. Hey guys, I'll try to get out of your way. I'm just here for safety.
Yeah.
I'm just here
and then
for
they bring
safety
out the
rating.
first caution.
Yeah, the ones that say good luck, let's make it, let's have a good long claim race.
I'm just here for safety rating. I'm thinking, well, there's at least one caution.
There's a guy in B Open this week that happened. So
yeah, and then they get so mad when they bring out the first caution. How about I was just here for safety and I was trying to ride around the back. I can't believe you guys.
Yeah, they're running on the race line. You're down low. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, on the learning side of it, when I started on EPI, I had hardly any prior open setups experience before I joined. I dabbled in VRS back a couple years ago before I started really just doing fixed stuff just to get seat time and make laps, and that's
Yeah,
one
and I
big
was going to
thing.
ask you why the fixed racing appealed to you, because some people do fixed, some people prefer open, and you talk about starting and doing a lot of fixed. I was just kind of wondering what the appeal was for you there.
And fixed racing, you're on a level playing field. You got the same set, so you're trying to figure out different things that you can do to be better than the people you're racing against on the same exact set, whether everyone's personal preference for steering ratio, brake bias, stuff like that, because that's the only thing you can change on the fixed sets. So tire management is huge in those races, and it really honed my racecraft being on the same set as everybody else. And then this year at February, I started EPI, getting in the open stuff.
Yeah,
And
Tracy really talks about what you just did about doing fixed racing and having a lot of guys that trying to get better to go to fixed racing for exactly what you're talking about. The set's completely out of it. It's all you and what you're doing.
I just feel like fixed, you got to be up on the wheel all the time because you got not many laps to go, and you just got to be up on the wheel and ready to go as soon as the green flag drops.
yeah,
I mean,
the race. Oh, keep going. Sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, like you said, it's all tense. And I can't drive with that much tense. I can't do it.
Yeah, those races are about half the length of open races. So
Yes, they are.
it's sprint races. So you're up on the wheel, elbows up, and you just gotta be smooth.
Well,
Yeah, and that's what I didn't like about them. I like the fact that they were, like you're talking about, an even playing field, everybody's in the same set. But what I did not like was the fact they were so short, and it was just like all out for the whole race.
Yeah.
Well, the thing you got to be careful of too. Now, let's use the ARCA racing. There's no cautions, right? So that whole race plays out. Hopefully you're not caught up in somebody else's mess. But if you're not, that whole race plays out in race strategy, save tires, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But in B fixed, C fixed, when any of the fixed races, if you're blessed with the flag to flag race, then it plays out the tire savings. But if you're in a caution fest where guys just get it wrong all the time and you're running 5 laps here, 7 laps there, that never comes into play. Now, the only thing that saved it was when they limited the tires that you could get instead of having unlimited tires. But now they're basically back to unlimited tires. And now it just kind of takes away from the racing there. So fixed is not as instrumental as it used to be, but it's definitely I don't even want to say a great place to start. I like going back there just to see if what I'm doing now is conducive to what that is, not having having a controlled environment instead of everybody going, well, I can't drive the fixed setup, and I'm guilty of that. And then just winging it and going, well, I'm going to have a terrible race. Who cares?
Well, I feel like the fixed setup is also brings the aggressiveness in the open. Yeah, because these guys are driving fixed and they got to be up on the wheel since the drop. And I think it brings out too much aggressiveness there in the open.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that because they just split the race in half on that. But you're right. You got to get to the front, settle down, get your pace, and not push too hard where you smoke the tires off the thing. So, but that's what I liked about the fixed was trying to control the tire wear so you had something when it mattered most.
Yeah, and so John, I want to get back to you now. So like you're talking about running the fixed races, talking about learning, soaking stuff up from any can, getting in people's cockpits that you thought were good, watching them, picking up what they were doing, that kind of stuff, doing some league races there to get some more experience with that. And so one of the things you talked about was hopping in sessions with people and stuff of that nature. Should about like entering sessions before race and practice, right? Like not just registering for a race and popping in, but you're talking about spending some time on the track, talking to guys in practice, in open practice sessions and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, you just go in there, you see somebody's quick and you just ask them a question. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that probably don't want to give away anything, but I feel like we're all community on iRacing and we all love the same thing. So never hesitate to ask somebody, and you might get an answer for what you're looking for. That's kind of what I did, and I'm at where I'm running now. So, and I'm always trying to advance. So.
Yeah, so this channel we focus and be open, and so I want to give some guys some advice in that area too. So you know how one of our sayings here is always check the notes, right, Trace?
That's right. That's right. Always check the notes.
Yeah, that's going to be our slogan from now. Yeah, for our slogan, right, always check the notes. Well, one thing that I will say starting out in iRacing, when you first start out, is always go into open practices before races for a while before, an hour, 45 minutes for a half hour before. Because one thing that is a pet peeve of mine that I just get so irritated to roll my eyes at is when guys pop in, 3 minutes before a race and says, "Hey, can somebody share a set with me?" They got a shit, and then they're set begging, or they'll hop into the practice after that, when not the practice before the race, but like the 3-minute practice of the race, but hey, can anybody got a set they can give me, but
with the open set work, I mean the fixed set work here.
Yeah. And then, well, but here's the thing. So if you're new to open racing, especially in the B open community, and this happened to me some when I first started, is you register for, when I say first start, I mean, not when you knew me, Robert, like as far as when I was on pay to win team, but I mean, like first started in the first couple of months when nobody really knew who I was. Is that you hop into an open session, you go practice with some guys, right, John? You go practice with them, ask for some pointers like you talked about. And there's times where somebody will say, "Hey, man, this isn't necessarily what I'm running, but this is the base I started from. It's pretty solid. Here, why don't you try it and see if it'll work for you?"
Or you're overdriving the corner or something.
Yeah, well, they'll give you driving tips, but I'm talking about oval rate or open racing. Not only will people give you driving tips, but there's sometimes people will share sets with you, or they'll tell you where you can go get a good free base setup or something that's way better than the iRacing set or anything you can build when you're first starting out. And that way you're not set begging. You're actually putting in some time practicing, and somebody's trying to help you, and they're trying to help you out and get you pointed in the right direction. So I think that's a good pointer for everybody. And John, did you experience the same type of thing as well when you first started doing open racing?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I started on EPI, I was like a 40, I have it up right now, a 4900 iRating, and I've learned so much from Nick here the last few months.
Now, is that Nick Ottinger?
Nick Ottinger, yeah.
Yeah, he's the pro, right?
Pro Coke driver.
Right.
He's the builder for EPI's B open stuff, right?
Yes, he builds all those for B open. And
yeah, they had a real good set for Richmond here too. I think they won quite a bit this week.
Yeah, a lot of the feedback I've heard from other drivers not on EPI is our roll center speed this week has been really good. So when he builds them, we test and for an hour and in the middle of the day on Sundays like today, and then I put up a session myself later in the evening for the guys that aren't able to do the midday session, just to get them up to speed on what we got going on. But yeah, Richmond's been pretty good to us this week.
All right, so let's finish this. Let's kind of, as we finish up this segment, let's focus on one last thing, and this is like the whole idea of taking it to the next level. So you were in iRacing, you're soaking stuff up, you're learning, you're doing leagues, you're doing open, you're doing all this stuff, and you've worked your way up to a very respectable mid 4,000-ish or so iRating. Okay, and you're sitting there. And you start back in, and now you're almost 2,000 iRating higher than you were 6 months ago. That, man, is pretty impressive. And that's the kind of gain that people get that they really, other people sit around and take notice of. They're like, wow, like that is he's gotten a lot faster. And that's the same game Tommy had. We had him on and talked about it and give people advice. It's the same kind of a game Brandon had, but Brandon didn't go from 4,000 some to 6,000 some. He went from, low mid 2,000s up to mid 4,000s, but same time period, same amount of iRating game. And so that's one thing that people out there that listen to these podcasts and all of our videos and stuff, that's the kind of results they're wanting. Like they're sitting around and saying, that's where I want to be. Like, how do I do that? Do I need a better set? What do I need to do in the car? Like they're just desperately wanting to know how to do it. And like Tracy said, without giving away, the whole house and the kitchen sink, we're looking for some general advice to give people on how you did it, like attitudes you had, things you did, practices that you got into, not practice sessions, but like habits that you developed? Like what, please describe, take as much time as you need. I'm going to shut up, but please describe for everybody the journey and how you feel like you got from that 2000 I rating jump from mid 4000s to mid 6000s.
A lot of just seat time, but also I don't know. It's so difficult in these B opens. There's a lot of good guys. Like,
Did you get a lot of that stuff in your fixed? Did you run a lot of fixed, B fixed stuff to get that, or what did you do?
not necessarily a lot of B fix stuff. I want to say probably the league racing helped more than anything, because it showed me just have a good time out there. I mean, yeah, we're all competitive, but have fun with it. And a lot of people ask me questions like, how are you driving like this, or how are you driving like that? And I'll be completely honest. I just go out there and drive. Like I just, there's a feel for it. And anyone that's in a race with me, I mean, I'm not afraid to answer a question. I mean, I've been there, where some people are like working from 4900 I rating to 6300. Like it's just a lot of seat time. And I've learned, I mean, I mentioned earlier, learned quite a bit. And but these guys in B open, it's very difficult to be able to outrun some of them. Like Cody's good, Brandon's good, Brandon Schmidt's good. You got Tommy's really good. I mean,
Brad Mayer is the guy that comes to mind.
Well, that's when
Mayer.
you get the lap cars to wreck them, then you beat them.
Yeah.
Make the wall of shame.
You mentioned Brad. He's a former Coke driver back in the day. He's really good, and I seem to keep pace with him when we're testing and when we're doing like mock race runs and stuff. He's so fast. He's helped me out with adjustments and stuff in the open races more
Now, is
than
that
anything.
car adjustments, or is that stuff with your equipment?
Like and like pit stop adjustments and race.
So John, are you a setup guy? I mean, do you know much about setups? Can you adjust them yourself, or build a bit yourself or anything? Are you just a driver and they hand you something and you go drive it?
When I first started on EPI, I had no idea, like adjustment wise, what to do. Here in the recent month and a half, maybe, I've learned little tidbits here and there from Brad and Nick and a couple of the other guys. But here, like Michigan strength of field night, I'm sure you guys seen that. I was not happy about that night. And
there's several guys that usually finish high that weren't happy. Cody Trilogy was not happy. I know you weren't. There were several people that left that race not happy.
Yeah, it was not fun. So I went back to the drawing board. I just went in the EPI Discord, and I got every little bit of information I could find on like what I was doing compared to, well, Brad was super quick.
It seemed like on Michigan and what pack you were with. If you were in a slow pack, it was hard to pass. If you're in a fast pack, it seemed like you were going faster. It seems like if you're not up there at the top or can't get up there, you're not going to go any faster.
Yeah, I was running that middle groove, and I just too tight, and I couldn't drive it. Dropped all the way back to like 15th, and I had enough, and I was frustrated prior to the race, and I just didn't have a clean mindset. So did a little reset, didn't race.
Yeah, you did a little rage quitting, didn't you? Did you all have 4 out of that one?
Oh, I parked it in the pits. I was done. I was so frustrated with how I was doing. So, and let me tell you, Nick was not too thrilled with me doing that, and that definitely put a fire under me, and I did well the rest of the week. So
now you were talking about feel and putting seat time in. Is there any driving tips that you can give anybody to help them out in their driving?
In the B open and the Xfinity car B open, I would say smooth inputs. Like Richmond this week, smooth input, straight braking into the corner, wrap the yellow line, get a straight exit. Other than that, like just being ultra smooth, not overdriving. The biggest thing I see with people and drivers, and some really good drivers, is when you're going in entry and you got the wheel turned to the left and you're tight, you're getting on throttle, trying to get to steer more, getting it to rotate, trying to get it to rotate, and it goes it's still tight. You don't want to be on the throttle while you don't want to turn the wheel more when you're getting tight. You don't want to be on the throttle more. You want to modulate the throttle, keep the wheel input the same, and just ride it out then until you feel like the car's just neutral. It's neutral. It's going to feel like you're loose, but you're able to control it. It's a controllable loose, where you're not actually, because if you're pushing tight, you're just going to burn the right front off, and you're just not going to have anything later in the run. And then you just got to be patient on throttle because of the high horsepower. With the right rear tire on these cars, you tend to drive off of them a little bit more. So it's just fine game between the right front and right rear tire wear, not putting too much heat in them.
Absolutely. We've talked about before. It's not as much about tire wear as it is about tire temperature, not getting them heated up too much.
Yes.
And then it gets slick and you're sliding all over the place.
Yeah, the
And
handling trait comes in with the tire heat.
Yeah, that's what Mikey was doing. Mikey's back end was so loose. He was scooting around every time he stomped on the grass. I think he was stomping on the pedal.
I was not.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you can have good tire wear, but if your tire temperature's higher than somebody else's, then your handling's going to go away faster.
Yeah, and you're right about driving on the right rear in these cars. And me and Tracy have talked about that a lot. And I'm like you about the feel thing. Like you said, more seat time and getting a feel for it. I think having Brandon Burkhart really talked about having a wheel that has a very high dynamic range, which basically means stronger, right? The stronger the wheel, the more of a range between the weakest force and the strongest force they can put out. That way you can, not that you got to crank it up all the, way high to where it's going to rip out of your arm, but the fact that your wheel is capable of turning it the highest part of the range up high enough to where, you can get more detail on the force feedback. Brandon talked about how that helped him out. He came in and walked Tracy through some of that. But when it comes to feel, man, I'm with you. Like Tracy asked me about driving off the right rears. I do. I'll drive off that right rear. There for the longest time, I had a problem just burning my right rears up in races, and getting loose the last, 5 to 10 laps before a pit stop or something, or the end of the race. And he would watch my wheel input some, and I'm just getting late. I'm yawning anyway. But he was like, Mike, like I said, I was like, Trace, I'm just driving off the right rear. That's why wheel input is what it is. And he was like, well, how are you doing that? Like, I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't. I just do it by feel. And listening to you, that I know that viewers watching are probably listening to us talk thinking, well, that's not the kind of tip I want. Just feel. Please tell me how to do it, But sometimes you just can't, right? Like that's how I felt. Like sometimes it's just in the feeling. But the only way you're going to get that feel is to spend lots of time in the seat and have other people give you input. Like, hey, you're driving in too deep. That's why you're burning your right front. Or hey, you're getting on the throttle too early and have the wheel turn too much, and that's why you're burning your right front. Or if you would let off a little earlier and let the car rotate on its own and then get back into throttle more consistently, and even on the exit you're going to use your right rear more. Like they're looking for that kind of stuff, but that kind of stuff will get you from like 2,000 or 2,500 to 3,500, 4,000. But to get to that next level like you did, I mean, I don't know. You've done it. I can't tell you what it takes to do it because I haven't done it, but you have, and I think that's something else people are looking for. But it sounds like it's kind of hard to describe. You're talking about feeling and putting seat time in, and maybe that is what it takes, just being in the seat where you can feel it enough, making sure equipment's right and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said, the whole be open is on exit is all throttle control, just managing your input while you're on throttle, not turning the wheel too much, not wanting to slip the right rear, if any at all, but you're going to when you're racing hard. So, but I I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to explain about it. There's so much to it. Like it's hard, like you said, it's hard to describe when you're trying to explain to somebody who's asking. There's been multiple times where somebody's asked me, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. But an EPI Discord, like I'll go like live stream in Discord and have people watch me, but also on my Twitch channel, xjenko. I usually try to use that in the EPI. There's a lot of EPI guys that follow me on there, and I always tell them, hey, I'm live streaming. If you want to just come in, check out, watch my inputs, my throttle responses on Race Labs apps, and all my inputs. And it seems to help a little bit. Explains it a little better than me actually talking.
Yeah, I watch
God,
YouTube a lot. I watch YouTube a lot and watch the drivers on their inputs and see how they're taking the corners.
So John, guys that are just getting into open racing, one thing they're always looking for, it's the hot topic everywhere. Where do I get a competitive setup? And you've talked a lot about Nick Ottinger. He said he was a Coke driver. He's the builder over at EPI, Elite Performance Industries. Tell everybody how you got hooked up with them, and give us a little pitch for Nick and what you guys got going on over there.
There's always something going on in the Be Open side of it. Nick builds them, Elite Performance Industries, or you can find them on raceepi.com. You can find them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find they have season passes, they have driver coachings, they have spotter coachings. They do telemetry stuff on there. They teach you how to do telemetry from your sessions and all that. And we always share feedback and everything in our Discord channels, and we actually sometimes tweak on Nick's setups and make them a little bit better here and there. And every set that is on the season pass is what you get to run along with us. And then along with those season passes are test sessions that you get to run with Nick, myself, Brad Mayhar's in there most nights, or when we do tests. There's sometimes about a dozen of us in test sessions, just giving feedback, what we're feeling on each set. Usually there's about 5 or 6 of them that we use. Maybe there's 3 or 4, but we have a good time with it. We try to get strategies and stuff worked out. We try to help others out as much as we can, because that's what my job is as a house driver, is helping out all of our development drivers that get season passes, which the season pass gets you all the sets for every week for that season. So all 12, 13 weeks, you get a set. You'll be able to be in the Discord channels with us. You just send your receipt to one of the admins in Discord, and they get you all set up in the right channels. And that's where you can chat in the Discord.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that for a second. This is the one thing that I think is really cool that you guys do. You talk about showing your receipt, getting access to those channels. A lot of people can see them, you just can't join them. And you can see all the people you guys have in there. And you were talking about you streaming in the Discord in that channel and having people come in and join, and they can watch you, and you can give them pointers while they're watching your race and what you're doing. You can talk to them with it. And so that's one thing I want to say. If you guys like that kind of community stuff and you want to be a part of a community, I think that's where EPI shines. They got a very active Discord. When I say active Discord, I don't mean they got a lot of posts and put a lot of announcements and got a place where people can post wins. No, when I say active Discord, I mean, like you said, you're being a team driver for EPI, a sponsored house driver, as you call it. You guys call it a house driver. A lot of people call them team drivers, sponsored drivers. That you're part of the team there. part of your job as being part of that team is for EPI is being available in those discords to be able to talk to people and help out the season pass people and mentor them and coach them. And that's unique. There's not a lot of places that do that. And so I think that's pretty cool. I think it's definitely your guys' strong suit. And so, yeah, man, that's pretty cool that's available. If somebody's looking for a setup shop, and that's something that you think you weight more heavily than maybe, have something else. I think that's a good place to land.
You also got somebody that does diecast too.
Hey,
Yeah, Robert wanted to talk to you about that. So
yeah, I know we're probably going to run over a little bit here, but yeah, I know Robert's been wanting to know about the whole paints and diecast thing.
which you run on your car. It's got that big custom paints thing on your car. I've always
Yeah.
wondered what that was. You talked about it in your interview there Monday night Strength of Field. So first of all,
What-
if you need a paint job for iRacing, the guy does that. So why don't you tell us about who he is?
Well, if you had, I was going to say, if you had a TGA file or something like that, you got give that to him. He can make you a diecast of your car.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not sure exactly how it works for the diecast, but I imagine that's what it is.
Well, we'll talk
yeah,
about the diecast here in a second. Who is he?
His name's Jordan Berry. He's from Canada, and I've known him for a couple years from league racing, and he was just doing paints. When he started doing paints, when I met him, that's when he started doing paints, and he's progressively gotten way better. And
All right, so if you're looking for a paint and iRacing, you want to do a nice custom one for yourself, and you don't know how to do it yourself, he can do it for you, right? Get you a nice, good looking paint on your car.
He can do it all. I've seen him do road cars, dirt cars, NASCAR. All of them. So
So
yeah.
how do we find him?
Well, it's Custom Paints and Diecasts. He's on Facebook, and you can. I believe he's on Twitter and Instagram. Sim Racing Realtor. And if you go into my stream, you can !paints, and it should prompt a link for his Facebook page.
And so here's the cool thing. So now you got your paint. Let's say you had to paint for every year. Like I love the paint that I've got right now. My Area 51 paint job I've had in Be Open. I'm loving it. I've stuck with it for a long time. People recognize it on the track, and all of our teams got a variation of something similar. Let's say I wanted to get it and mount it behind me. Everybody can see on my broadcast here on the podcast and everything. And he makes actual die casts of these paint job files and stuff where you can have a physical replica basically of your iRacing car, right?
Yeah. Yep. I've seen his work when he does those, and they come out really good. I think Jonathan Goodell's got a couple of them,
and so I think that's what Robert. Well, I'm getting tired. Excuse me. Whew. But I think that's what Robert's interested in. Robert wants to get a die cast of that Wrangler car, don't you, Robert?
Yeah, eventually. I got one in my truck a long time ago. I think the guy who did mine and stuff, I think it was like a wrap. Is that what he does too? Like a wrap? Or it's not no physical paint?
It's a wrap is what it is. I believe he's got something, I don't know what he has that gets those wraps printed, but yeah, I think he just takes the file that you send him, and he runs that file, and it prints out the wrap, and he applies it to the chassis of the car, the body of the car.
Now, how big are these die cast replicas?
I think he does the 124 scale, the larger version.
Yeah, that's what I have on my truck. It's nice to have a die cast of your car that you've been running. I don't know, they put it on some places. That's my car.
Yeah, I actually told him, I messaged him after the Strength of Field race at Richmond, and told him I gave him a little sponsor plug, and he was telling me he needs to make die cast in my car. So if I can get him if he's going to do one, I will have to send you a picture.
Yeah, do that. And then if he's interested in coming on a podcast, talk about his work and what he does, that would be a cool segment, having talk about die casts and maybe show us a couple examples. That would be pretty cool. So maybe we'll reach out to him and see if he'd be interested in coming and doing a podcast with us.
Yeah, I'll have to message him and let him know you guys be interested.
Absolutely. I think that's cool. And a lot of guys have had the same paint job in iRacing for years now. And I think there's a lot of people that might be interested in getting a die cast made of their iRacing car. What about you, Trace? You interested in getting an Alien Factory die cast over there?
Absolutely. We got to have one. Yeah. With the paint work you do, absolutely. We need that for our little alien heads to get.
There you go. John, I tell you what, this has been a good podcast, man, that we're hitting the 12 o'clock hour pretty much right on the dot. You got anybody you want to shout out or anything you want to say before we close the podcast? I'll give you kind of the last word of the segment tonight.
Yeah, first and foremost, you guys for bringing me on here, invite me. This is actually really cool. Nervous as heck. I don't know why, but kind of grew into it a little bit.
See, I told you to have fun. You'd be all right.
Yeah, I've had a good time. Listening to you guys and some of your stories and then being able to tell some of mine. But also Elite Performance Industries, Tyler Payne, the owner, Nick Ottinger for the B Open sets. Then also Michael Connie does the A and Dustin Hall does C Open. And
Dustin Hall and I were on the same team at one time. Tell him I
Oh.
said hi. He knows me.
yeah, yeah, I'll have to mention your name to him. I was testing with him earlier. Also, who else? Jordan, obviously for the paints, custom paints and die casts. Also, shout out to all the people that have helped me get up and started back in my early days of iRacing. Michael Warren. Trying to think of who else was part of that. There's so many people. I don't even remember off the top of my head, but
I'm sure they know who they are.
yeah, hopefully maybe some of them are watching, but I don't know. But that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot going on. So it's pretty much all I've got.
Well, John, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night on the track at Watkins Glen, and the high strength of field race will be live broadcasting that. Tracy, is that going to be your last broadcast before you go back to evening shift?
I'm thinking I possibly got 2, maybe 3 weeks, but I'm not sure because this week here I'll be on my regular shift, which is the morning stuff, 6 to 2. So I'll make that. And then the following week I'll be a little bit later than that. But I still think I can make that broadcast. We'll just see where it goes because the football season kicks off, so we're going to be busy on the weekends. Sunday shouldn't be a problem with the podcast. Monday, probably by September when we start rolling around into September, that's going to be where I'm done.
Yeah, so we'll be down a broadcaster on Monday night, strength of field race, but that's okay. We'll still have the number 1 team driver, Robert Cook. Robert, you still looking forward? I tell you what, if you get a die cast made of your car, I want to see a picture of it so I can see what it looks like, and maybe I'll get one of mine too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we hear you loud and clear at that new headset, man. You got some nice equipment now on that thing.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, I want to get one.
You have the elite model this time. That's like special, man. The elite.
Yeah, I gotta have the elite. Yeah,
elite. I need an elite butt kicker to kick my
Mike,
button.
just a quick program note. I reach out to iRacing's Matt Holden. If anybody's familiar with Matt.
Yeah.
We gave him an invite for one of our shows. We're waiting to hear back from him and his people to see if we can get together. So anybody still watching, that's hopefully in the near future for us.
Yep. So if you know Matt, say, hey man, check your messages. Trace sent you a message, and yeah, want to have you on. That'd be pretty cool. Matt is the one of the developers that writes code for the for iRacing for the B cars. So he's engaged with the community before. He's actually responded to some of our videos before. So that'd be cool if we get Matt on. So guys, that's the podcast tonight. Appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate the number one team driver there, Robert Cook. John, been awesome having you, and appreciate Tracy being here this week as always for the podcast. Each and every week here is a mainstay on the podcast. So, guys, it's been a good podcast. Appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate all you guys watching the podcast. If you have not done so yet, we just ask you hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Our goal is for the first 12 months of the podcast, which would end the beginning of next year, to become a YouTube partner. We are well over halfway. We're about 3/4 of the way there on watch hours, and we're over halfway there now on view hours, and we're about halfway time frame to getting there. So we are on track, and we want to continue the streak here with you guys. And so every subscription that you can give to us, we appreciate it very much. Haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. Also the bell icon,
and holler out to Junior, because we need Junior in here too.
Oh yeah, we need Robert's on his mission here. He started since the first podcast to get Junior on, but hit the bell icon. You get notified anytime we put up new content here at Area 51. And finally, go down to the description, just like checking the notes. Always check that description, all kind of goodies down there. Got an affiliate link to Major's Garage, a couple places to get free setups, including Edwards Setup Shop, oldschoolracing.net, and then got a 10% off promo code down there for you guys as well.
Can you put a description on there before you get the diecast down there too?
Yeah, we can put that down there if you got. Yeah, I'll grab the information off John's Twitch channel and put the information there. I think that's a pretty cool service that a lot of people might like. So guys, always check out the description on your way out. Appreciate you being here for this podcast, episode 16 of the Alien Factory podcast. Our special guest, John Jenkins, tonight. Guys, this has been a great podcast. Thank you for being with us, all you people, everyone out there, all the alien heads out there that are viewing the podcast. Thank you very much. And as always, we will see you in
the next one.